Hushi remembered something when she heard that, and she turned to look at Qing Long. I asked you to find the jade fire toad last time. Did you find the trace of it? Qing Long immediately showed a look of guilt when he heard the words. Reporting to the princess, we have sent all the spies of King of Hell Mansion and Iron Kirin, holding the inscribed jade slip and looking for it in various remote places, but there is still no news yet. Hushi frowned. Is there really no jade fire toad in this Miluo continent? She remembered the characteristics of jade fire toad. It must be a place where yin and yang intertwine. She couldn't help saying in a deep voice. In this Miluo continent, is there a place with the most intense interweaving of yin and yang? You can follow this direction and look for it again. Qing Long nodded quickly. Yes, princess. A place where yin and yang intertwined? Qing Long frowned and fell into contemplation. In a moment he passed the command. Jade fire toad was related to the old disease of the master. He must find a way to find it. As soon as Hushi raised her head, she met Nangongyu's tender and pampering eyes. He stretched out his hand, scratched the tip of Hushi's nose gently, and said softly, Little girl, are you so worried that I will die? This time, Hushi didn't go rebuke him. Instead, she looked seriously at him, replying word by word. Nangongyu, I know you have always protected me, from the sealed dragon domain to the breaking spirit mountain, and then to the Nalan mansion. You protect me like that, so I will of course protect you and protect everything you care about. Nangongyu was stunned, and the emotions in his eyes were turbulent, as if some strong emotions were about to overflow. He stretched out his hand and gently stroked the girl's soft cheeks. He wanted to say something, but he couldn't utter a word. As he was about to move forward and kiss her pinkish lips, there was a childish voice suddenly came into his ears. Mom, you want to play kiss-kiss with Daddy? As it spoke, it immediately turned around. Have you all seen? Mama's going to play kiss-kiss with Daddy. We can't be here as a third wheel. Let's go to other places to play. Hushi's mouth twitched. As soon as she turned her head, she saw Little Egg, Little Golden Dragon, Little Dumb Cow, and her brother Xiaoqi, all looking at her and Nangongyu with innocent eyes. And Purple Abyss Vine was also shaking her purple vine behind, cheering for them. Hushi pushed Nangongyu away and reprimanded Little Egg softly. Little Egg, what nonsense are you talking about? If you talk nonsense, get back to the void and don't come out. Little Egg shook his little head, and he wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he ran to Nangongyu, and his little pig's trotters grabbed Nangongyu's legs to please him. Daddy, Daddy, Mom is shy, right? You're right. Nangongyu was extremely satisfied with these Daddy, so he tolerated this stupid little guy a little bit. Seeing that Hushi was about to become irritated, Nangongyu hurriedly made a silent motion and said solemnly, Shu, since you know that your mom is shy, you are not allowed to peek when your daddy is playing with your mom in the future. Do you understand? Now go and play by yourself. Little Egg chuckled a few times, then he immediately returned to his little friend, crawling along Xiaoqi's hands and feet onto his back. Xiaoqi, this little friend, received a warm welcome from the spiritual pets of Hushi. The reason was that he was much larger than Little Egg, Little Golden Dragon, and Little Cow. They all could play on his body. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Moreover, Xiaoqi was also very hardworking. No matter how the little ones tossed him, he would always smile stupidly. Only when he saw Hushi, he would throw away the little ones and rush to her to coquette. Of course, the premise was that there was no Nangongyu by Hushi. Xiaoqi was terrified of Nangongyu, the brother-in-law, who always threatened him. At this moment, Little Dumb Cow was lying under Xiaoqi's feet, sticking out his tongue and looking at Little Egg. Little Egg sat on Xiaoqi's knee and gnawed on a chicken leg, giving some to Little Golden Dragon and Little Dumb Cow a little from time to time. Little Golden Dragon kept doing all kinds of funny stunts and chattering in Xiaoqi's ear. He was born to be talkative. Little Egg and Hushi sometimes disliked him. Now there was Xiaoqi who wouldn't dislike him. He was really happy for this. As for Purple Abyss Vine, it wrapped around Xiaoqi's hand and gently brushed his skin with the leaves, making Xiaoqi feel itchy and giggle. Hushi looked up and saw such a scene. Everyone whom she cared was with her. and her beloved man was peeling grapes for her. Such moments were quite good, making her nostalgic and smile sweetly. In order for this wonderful moment to survive forever, she has to keep getting stronger, until no one could take anything from her. As if feeling her mood, Nan Gongyu gently hugged her and whispered in her ear, "Sheer, don't worry, as you said, I will protect you and everything you care about. I will swear by my deceased parents." Since Shi-san became the shopkeeper of Shengda Hall, he had always thought that he had been accustomed to everything that happened. However, when he received news from Hushi and asked him to report the news to King of Hell Mansion, he still felt cold feet. He looked up at the towering plaque on top, and two black shirt guards standing in front of the door. The two guards guarding the gate belonged to the Meridian stage, and they looked steadily ahead. Their bodies exuded a murderous aura like two sharp swords that would unsheath at any time. My gosh! This is the King of Hell Mansion. What did Miss ask me to come here? Is she here to treat King of Hell? If that's the case, Miss is too powerful. Even King of Hell is seeing her? Shi-san faintly knew that his Miss had a relationship with an important person, and that person even came to their simple courtyard. However, he would never ever expect that that person would be the famous King of Hell. Shi-san stepped forward tremblingly and explained his identity to one of the guards. Unexpectedly, when the guard heard Shi-san reporting his identity, he immediately showed a respectful expression. "Shopkeeper Shi, Butler Nan has instructed us that the princess has been waiting for you for a long time. Please come in with me." Wait what? Who the hell is the princess? Why is the princess waiting for him? Shi-san followed the guard to the mansion almost in sync. He was feeling dizzy all the way. However, when he arrived in the courtyard and saw the scene in front of him, he almost stopped breathing. Am I having illusion? The unparalleled handsome man, and exuded an astounding momentum. Is he Royal Highness King of Hell? Shi-san had seen the heroic appearance of King of Hell, Nan Gongyu, from a distance. Besides, Nan Gongyu had such an outstanding appearance. He had become the dream lover of female cultivators in the world before he was an adult. Anyone who had seen him would never forget his appearance. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. But can anyone tell me that the man in front of me, who is peeling grapes for my miss and is pushed away by my miss with detest, is really the cruel and bloodthirsty King of Hell in the legend? Uncle Shi-san, why are you here? Did Mom's bad master come to ask for alcohol again? A little pink pig suddenly rushed in front of him, biting a chicken leg and saying angrily, "Go back and tell that bad old man, the wine and food all belong to Little Egg. He is not allowed to steal from me." Shi-san smiled. His face was so stiff as if it was petrified. At this time, Hushi finally noticed the existence of Shi-san. She looked up and waved at him. How did Nalan Mansion react? Shi-san regained his thought abruptly, and he quickly stepped forward to report to Hushi. Hushi had already asked Chun Bai, one of Gu Liufeng's original subordinates, to secretly deploy manpower at the Nalan Mansion to monitor their every move. When Shi-san sent medicinal pills to Nalan Jingza, he also contacted Chun Bai along the way. Therefore, he naturally brought back news of Nalan Mansion. Shi-san finished talking tremblingly, and he saw Hushi's mouth slightly pursed, revealing a half-smile. At this time, His Royal Highness King of Hell was taking a piece of pastry to Miss, and she ate it naturally. The little cake stain on the corner of her mouth was even carefully wiped clean by King of Hell. Shi-san turned his head in shock. He saw the guards beside King of Hell were already accustomed to it. They didn't feel strange at all. God. That's King of Hell. What is Miss' identity? She can even let King of Hell feed her. Qing Luan by the side said in a puzzle at this moment. Princess, since the little young master has been rescued, shouldn't we just kill Nalan Mansion and avenge the little young master? Why bother to do so many tricks to waste time with the group of trashes in Nalan Mansion? Hushi tightened up the corner of her mouth, and she said with gloomy eyes, "The Morong Mansion incident has made me fear a little. Behind the noble families in Yanjing City, it seems that there are treacherous forces behind them in secret. Especially the array in the Nalanjingza study room. It let me have a bad omen." Once we alerted the enemies, it might make Nalanjungza fight back and desperate. It may even alarm the people behind them, letting them taking precautions. It's better to push the Nalan family into desperation bit by bit, but also let them think they still have the hope of counterattack. In this way, it's easier to get more information from them. What's more, Hushi's gaze fell on her little brother who was playing with the 4 little ones. Seeing his innocent smiling face, there was a trace of pity and cold hatred in her eyes. They harmed Xiaoqi so much. If I just let their whole family die like that, isn't that making it too easy for them? The abuses and humiliations that my brother and I suffered over the years, can it be repaid by just death? What I want is their reputation being totally ruined, letting them suffer a living hell. There was one more point, but Hushi didn't say it. That was, she still had too many doubts about the identities of Nalan Hushi and Xiaoqi who is in Lingyue. If she is just an ordinary concubine, why would Nalanjingza care so much about what she left behind? And who is Xiaoqi and my biological father? What is the powerful force sealed in Xiaoqi's body? I must dig out all these from Nalanjingza's mouth. Qinghuan nodded immediately when she heard the words. She pulled Shisan aside to discuss how to make Nalan family even more unlucky. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Hushi then asked Shisan, if there is any abnormality in the Nalan mansion, let Chunbai report to me immediately. After planning for so long, I don't want to miss the good show. Shisan nodded quickly, and he couldn't help but glance back with a confused face. His Royal Highness King of Hell, who was rumored to kill people like flies, was reaching out his hand and gently stroking his mischeek. His eyes filled with pampering and pity. Princess. Princess. It turns out that King of Hell likes our miss. From now on, our miss will be the King of Hell's wife. God, that's the King of Hell. Wouldn't I be the manager of the King of Hell mansion in the future? Shisan felt that his footsteps floating even more. His hands and legs were moving at the same time. He stumbled from time to time, making Qinghuan look back at him frequently. After Hushi sent away Shisan, she continued to study her prescription. Besides, Nangongyu was intimate with her enough. He also asked people to bring the official tasks of the King of Hell mansion here, and he handled them right beside her. Hushi raised her head occasionally, looking at the man working seriously beside her. She couldn't help being moved. This time, I really fell for it. She could feel the throbbing in her heart. She would miss when she didn't see him. She would be happy when she sees him. She couldn't wait to be always with him. When she saw him getting close to another woman, she would feel annoyed. Her heart would throb when seeing his serious working face. Nangongyu, in this unfamiliar and dangerous world, can I really stay with this man? I surely can, right? This day was the day when Nalan Feishua brought her new husband Zhu Zhongba back to her home, but there was no festive atmosphere in the entire Nalan mansion. For Nalan family, Zhu family was definitely not a good relative, not to mention that the miss of the Nalan family was married to Zhu Zhongba, who was stupid like a pig. In this marriage, there were so many people laughing at the Nalan family for disgracing themselves. Although the Ouyang family was now destroyed, compared to the young and talented Ouyang Haoshuan, Zhu Zhongba was really unworthy as compared to Ouyang Haoshuan. When Nalan family detested Ouyang Haoshuan, whose meridian was broken, they cancelled the engagement with the Ouyang family. But now they married their baby daughter to Zhu Zhongba, who already had a dozen of concubines. This was really a joke. So for Nalanjingza, no matter who married, as long as the Nalan family was marrying the Zhu family, he wouldn't be happy. As for Mrs. Nalan, she was very excited. But she was just excited to laugh at Nalan Hushi. She patiently prepared the bridal chamber for her. In the main hall, the Nalan family's master and Madame and Nalan Yurong were sitting in their seats, looking anxiously at the door. The butler had just come to report that the new son-in-law was bringing his new wife home. Sure enough, after a while, Zhu Zhongba's plump figure appeared at the entrance of the main hall. He was still wearing a new red dress, and his face was full of vitality. Even his eyes were smiling triumphantly. It was just that his body was too fat. The groom's red dress on him did not only look brave, but he looked more like a roasted pig, which was really ridiculous. After stepping in, Zhu Zhongba was about to step forward to salute Nalan Jingzi. Realizing that the person behind him hadn't followed up, he immediately turned around and pulled. He yelled, "What are you dilly-dallying for? Father-in-law and mother-in-law are still waiting for me to kowtow to them." Under this pull, a woman's figure appeared immediately behind Zhu Zhongba. It was just that compared to Zhu Zhongba's vigorous face, the woman looked a lot dejected. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. A woman dressed in a red dress, but her hair was a little. I saw that she was wearing a scarlet dress, but her hair was a little messy. Her steps were staggering, and her hands were still tied to her chest by a thin natural silk. As she was pulled by Zhu Zhongba, she staggered and almost fell to the ground, making a low sob. When Mrs. Nalan saw the miserable appearance of the woman behind Zhu Zhongba, she was immediately exasperated. She subconsciously stood up and took a few steps forward. When Zhu Zhongba saw her, he didn't mean to be too respectful. He just cupped his fist and sneered, "Greetings to mother-in-law." Mrs. Nalan had no time to chat with this fat pig. She waved her hand excitedly and said, "Quickly take Nalan quickly bring the bride up to me. Let me see how miserable the bitch looks." Zhu Zhongba thought that Mrs. Nalan missed the bride. He immediately pulled the natural silk in his hand and exclaimed, "Have you not heard the way your mother-in-law calls you? Don't hurry up and lift up your head." Mrs. Nalan excitedly watched the bride shivered violently. Then the bride slowly raised her head. This was a beautiful and charming face, but at this moment, this face was haggard and sad. Her eyes looked blurred and scared. There was a wound on her forehead, but it was treated with some ointment. The corners of her mouth were covered with bruises. It seemed unspeakable miserable. But if this face was not the second Miss Nalan Feishua from the Nalan mansion, who would she be? When Mrs. Nalan saw this face, she couldn't help being stiff, and then she screamed, Feishua. Hearing the words Feishua, Nalan Feishua's originally dilated pupils slowly focused. When she saw her mother, she finally couldn't help crying out, "Mother! Mother! Help me! Save me! Mother! I'm Feishua! Impossible! How is this possible?" Mrs. Nalan rushed up crazily, grabbing Nalan Feishua's face and pulling her to the side. "You lie to me, you must be lying to me. Is that bitch Nalan Hushi pretending to be you?" Mother, I'm Feishua. I'm really Feishua." Nalan Feishua desperately avoided Mrs. Nalan's tugging and cried out loudly, "Mother, it's all because of Nalan Hushi. She framed me and made me fall into this situation. She is a devil. Devil. Mother, you must save me." Mrs. Nalan took a step back staggeringly, and the bun on her head was loosened by the violent movement. At this time, she was like a crazy woman. Her eyes were bloodshot, and her body was shaking. She kept mumbling, "No. No way. This is absolutely impossible. It should be Nalan Hushi who was married. Why would it be Feishua? Why is it my baby girl Feishua?" Zhu Zhongba understood the conversation between the two persons even though he was stupid. The thought that he almost married the devil, Nalan Hushi, he couldn't help being afraid for a while. Although this Nalan Feishua was also arrogant at first, she became honest after being punished by his father. Moreover, Nalan Feishua's appearance was so delicate and beautiful. Her body was soft and white. She was even prettier than his concubines. He wasn't done with playing her yet. Thinking of this, Zhu Zhongba pulled the natural silk in his hand and snorted coldly, "Mother-in-law, what do you mean by this? I obviously have an engagement with Feishua, but you guys wanted to marry the third miss to me? Humph. Aren't you afraid that I will report this to the sixth prince and the crown prince for deceiving them? Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/ the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Nalan Feishua was bound by the natural silk, so she couldn't help herself. As soon as Zhu Zhongba pulled her, she fell into his fat embrace. Zhu Zhongba laughed, humiliating her indifferently. He pinched her plump chest, Then he said condescendingly, however, now that I married Nalan Feishua, I'll forget it. However, since Feishua has married my family, she is a member of my Zhu family. In the future, I think she should go back to the Nalan family lesser. Ah. No, I don't want. Nalan Feishua shouted as she pushed away Zhu Zhongba, rushing toward Nalan Jingzi and Nalan Yurong. Father, save me. I don't want to go back to the Zhu family. That is not a place for people to stay. They beat me up, and even sealed my cultivation. I also heard Zhu Yichun said that he wanted to treat me like a furnace to let Zhu Zhongba absorb my vitality. This can be referred to the arts of chamber. Father, I'm Feishua. I'm your most beloved daughter, not the bitch Nalan Hushi. Please save me. Elder sister, please save me. Please master, let the Zhu family issue the divorce. Elder sister, I'm begging you, Wu. Nalan Yurong looked at the desperate and embarrassed sister who was kneeling in front of him and crying. Her face also looked terribly gloomy, and she almost bit her teeth until bleeding. Nalan Hushi, I actually underestimated you. Nalan Feishua hugged Nalan Yurong's feet and cried loudly, Elder sister, please help me. Nalan Yurong took a deep breath, and she pushed her sister's hand lightly. She said lightly, Feishua, stop making trouble. For whatever reason, you are now married to Zhu family's young master, and you have become his woman. In that case, you better go back with Master Zhu obediently. Don't make a big fuss outside, lest you lose the face of our Nalan family. What did you say? Nalan Feishua's eyes widened suddenly, and she stepped back in disbelief. She murmured over and over again in her mouth. Elder sister, are you lying to me? You are lying to me, right? I'm your sister of the same father and mother. You used to love me the most. How could you say that? Nalan Yurong sneered and looked at her condescendingly. There was a hint of contempt in her eyes. Feishua, you can only blame yourself for being stupid. You have been framed by Nalan Hushi again and again. Even my perfect plan has a flaw now. Since that's the case, you should just accept your fate. After all, you are already young Master Zhu's woman. Zhu Zhongba was both delighted and proud when he heard this. He laughed and said, the elder sister is really righteous. No wonder everyone praises you as the most dazzling jewel of the Nalan family. Feishua and I have long had intimate contact. She is my Zhu family's legitimate wife. My father has instructed me to bring her back so that I can love her move, ha ha ha. Nalan Feishua shook her head desperately, looking at her magnificent elder sister, but her heart was full of strangeness. The contemptuous and cold eyes made her fearful, an injured heart riddled with holes. Nalan Feishua rushed in front of Nalan Jingzi, crying loudly, Father, save me. I'm your daughter. Nalan Jingzi frowned and said sternly, What are you crying for? It should be a festive day for your return. Look at your crying face, how ugly is that? Do you want our Nalan family to be a laughing stock again? From the far gate, someone was already looking into the main hall. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Despair surged in Nalan Feishua's heart, and these former dear relatives in front of her became so unfamiliar to her. In the past, she thought that she was being loved the most, but now in the moment of interest, these relatives, who loved her previously, pushed her back to hell without hesitation. Nalan Jingzi coughed and said, Zhongba, Feishua is my daughter after all, the second miss of my Nalan family. You must treat her well, otherwise our Nalan family will never forgive you. Although this was a threat, it showed no confidence at all. Zhu Zhongba chuckled and said, My father-in-law, don't worry, as long as Feishua doesn't make trouble, I can't wait to love her. How could I abuse her? Feishua, don't you think so? Nalan Feishua raised her head, and met Zhu Zhongba's lewd smile, and her body trembled violently. She still clearly remembered the disgusting fat man who stripped her clothes last night, dripped hot candle oil on her body, and whipped her with a whip. Ah, such a living hell. I don't want to continue it even if I die. Mother! Nalan Feishua could only look back for the mother who loved her most. Mother, you must save me. Since Mrs. Nalan just discovered the identity of Nalan Feishua, She sat there obediently as if her soul was lost. Hearing Nalan Feishua's call at this time, her body trembled suddenly. After that, her eyes turned white, and the corners of her mouth began to salivate. Her body trembled like she was having a seizure. Without waiting for Nalan Feishua to speak, she suddenly violently rushed toward Nalan Feishua. Bitch Nalan Hashi, you bitch, you dare to frame my daughter. I will kill you. I will kill you. Mother, mother, it's me, mother. Nalan Feishua kept yelling, but Mrs. Nalan couldn't hear her at all. She was completely crazy, unleashing her craziness at someone. Nalan Yurong had to knock Mrs. Nalan out helplessly, and let the servant tie up Mrs. Nalan with a rope. Nalan Yurong looked at Nalan Feishua, whose face was scratched at one side. Feishua, you are so ignorant. You know that your mother has an old illness. I asked the master to use medicine to suppress it, but you stimulated mother because of that little things, triggering her disease again. If mother never gets better, can you take the responsibility? Nalan Zhengza also frowned, his face was gloomy. He cupped his fist at Zhu Zhongba and said, Something has happened in my mansion. Sorry for letting Zhongba seeing such a joke. Why don't we cancel the banquet today? You bring Feishua home first. A few days later, I will invite you and Feishua again. Zhu Zhongba couldn't wait to say goodbye to the people of Nalan Mansion. Seeing that they didn't care about Nalan Feishua's life or death, he was overjoyed. He dragged Nalan Feishua and said, Then we will leave first. Father, mother, elder sister, save me, save me. When being dragged away by Zhu Zhongba and the guards of the Zhu Mansion, Nalan Feishua was still crying for help. However, at this time her voice was already full of despair and resentment. Nalan Mansion, Nalan Zhengza, Nalan Yurong, they all abandoned her. After being thrown into the carriage by Zhu Zhongba, Nalan Feishua's head hit the carriage wall heavily. Zhu Zhongba immediately rushed to tear her clothes and shouted, Little bitch, have you given up now? No one from the Nalan family will step up for you. From now on, I can do whatever I want with you, ha ha ha. The sounds that couldn't be concealed came out from the carriage, but the servants of the Zhu family had long been accustomed to it. The pedestrians on both sides of the road couldn't help pointing at the carriage and gossiping. I heard that it is the young master of the Zhu family and the second miss of the Nalan Mansion. Today is the day they return home after newly married. Oh, but even newly married can't be so shameless. This is on the street. Zizu, I really don't know what Nalan family is thinking. Sticking a flower into the cow dung. In the carriage, Nalan Feishua closed her eyes, and tears streaming down her eyes. Her hands were clenched into fists, and her nails were deeply embedded in her flesh. Her hands were bleeding out, but she didn't notice anything. At this moment, she hated Nalan Yurong and Nalan Zhengza even more than Nalan Hashi. Nalan Hashi is my enemy. I wanted to harm Nalan Hashi, and Nalan Hashi wanted to harm me. This is understandable. But Nalan Yurong, she is my elder sister. Nalan Zhengza is my biological father. How could they be so cruel? How can they abandon me just like that? Nalan Feishua gritted her teeth, revealing a hideous twisted smile at the corner of her mouth. At this time, Hashi had already returned to Xinu house and decided to complete her finishing work at Nalan Mansion. Qing Wan set up the tea set, cooked the tea skillfully, poured the tea, and finally handed the teacup to Hashi's hand. Hashi took a sip and couldn't help but praise. Qing Wan, your tea art is really getting better and better. I'm used to the tea you make, and I can't drink ordinary tea anymore. Qing Wan was immediately delighted. Compared to Miss' cooking skills, I'm far behind. If Miss doesn't dislike it, I will stay with Miss forever and make tea for you. Hashi pursed her mouth and said, You're the confidant guard carefully trained by King of Hell Mansion. If you just follow me to be a tea master, isn't that too wasteful? Qing Wan immediately shook her head again and again. No at all, not a waste at all. I'm willing to follow you. As long as you don't. Hashi laughed and said, You sound like you are my maid. Nangong Yu is your master, right? Sooner or later, Miss will marry into the King of Hell Mansion and become the princess. Qing Wan took it for granted. I'm master's maid, and of course I'm also Miss Maid. Hashi blushed and said proudly, Bah, who said I will marry Nangong Yu, that rascal? She remembered someone's hot breath in her ears last night. The hoarse voice, that seemed to be able to catch fire, whispered in her ear, "Sheer, if you don't marry me soon, I'm afraid I can't restrain myself from eating you up before getting married." The ending was of course someone being kicked out of bed by her. But now thinking of someone's fiery embrace and the look in his eyes as if to swallow her into his stomach, she couldn't help but feel palpitations. Qing Wan didn't say anything. In her opinion, the only one who could be worthy of her master in this world was Miss. And the only one who could be worthy of Miss was naturally her master. The two are a match made in heaven. How can they not be together? Hushi took out a few exquisite refreshments from the void and greeted Qing Wan and Mai Xiang to eat together. She suddenly said as if she thought of something, "Qing Wan, Mai Xiang, why not I teach you two how to cook spiritual food when I'm free a few days later?" "Me, miss, I can learn?" Mai Xiang was trembling with excitement, and her voice stuttered. Qing Wan was also overjoyed. She had eaten Hushi's food several times. The foods were so delicious that even the top spirit chefs couldn't cook. Even my master, by who Wu Yu and others are looking forward to Miss Foods every day. But with such top-notch cooking skills, Miss is willing to teach us so simply? Hushi said disapprovingly. What can't you learn? If you two learn it, then in the future, my master, Wu Yu, by who and the other guys come to ask for food, you can help me deal with them. When she first came to Miluo continent, her cooking skills were also taught by Mammy Chun and Xiaoli. It was just that things had changed. Mammy Chun was dead. Although Xiaoli was still alive, her cultivation was lost. She was now busy cultivating, so her cooking skills were also lost. Mai Xiang and Qing Wan, one was clever and the other was calm and wise, and they were clever in handling daily tasks, so it was just nice to let them learn the cooking skills. Hushi smiled and looked at the two. Are you two willing to learn? Yes. Yes. Of course I do. Mai Xiang and Qing Wan nodded desperately, and Mai Xiang's tears dropped with excitement. Miss, it's really great for me to meet you. Oh, Hushi was so dumbfounded by these two little girls. As she wanted to order Mai Xiang to not bother her, her expression looked stern. Someone is coming. Mai Xiang stopped crying immediately. She stood up and walked to the room. Her cultivation was low. Staying here would only cause trouble for Hushi. Qing Wan stood beside Hushi and whispered, "Miss, is it the people from the Nalan family?" Hushi took a sip of tea and smiled slowly. "And someone is here to settle the score." Not long after she spoke, the door of Xianyu house was smashed open. Nalan Yurong appeared at the entrance of Xianyu house, followed by several martial artists from Meridian stage. Mrs. Nalan with messy hair and bloodshot eyes was there too. Seeing Hushi, Nalan Yurong's pupils shrank suddenly. Her eyes were filled with jealousy. "Nalan, Hushi, you are still here?" Hushi put down the teacup and smiled delightedly. "Elder sister is really weird. If I'm not here, where should I be?" Nalan Yurong gritted her teeth and stared at her fiercely. "Nalan, Hushi, you are just an illegitimate child of unknown origin. You have no outstanding appearance and talent. You should have been trampled in the mud. How dare you show off in front of us? Have you forgotten how you knelt in front of the servants of the Nalan family and begged them to give you a bowl of rice? A person like you. Do you think you are worthy of His Royal Highness King of Hell? I asked you to marry the Zhu family to replace Fei Xue. It was originally a way for you to survive. Who knew that you would seek the hard way?" Hushi sneered and said, "What kind of talent does elder sister think is worthy of King of Hell? Are you, elder sister, mentioning yourself? What a pity. I remember that King of Hell beat up elder sister in front of everyone, and he even said that you are ugly. It has only been a few days. Did elder sister forget about it? Bitch, you shut up." Speaking of this, Nalan Yurong could no longer maintain her noble appearance, and she raised the volume and shouted in anger, "You bitch, you caused Fei Xue to marry that fat pig, Zhu Zhongba, and you seduced King of Hell, causing him to misunderstand me. I will never let you go." Standing aside, Mrs. Nalan, whose eyes were still somewhat distracted, heard Nalan Yurong's sentence. "You caused Fei Xue to marry that fat pig, Zhu Zhongba," and immediately recovered. Her bloodshot eyes stared at Hushi, and she suddenly screamed and rushed toward her. It's you who framed my face, Yue. Nalan Hushi, I will kill you to revenge for my face, Yue. Ah. However, before she rushed to Hushi, Mrs. Nalan was kicked flying by Qing Wan. Although Qing Wan didn't add spiritual power to her feat, the strength was extremely high, and Mrs. Nalan had a very low level of cultivation. In addition, her body was weak due to repeated troublesome incidents. She flew to the wall, spouting a lot of blood. Nalan Yurong's eyes widened. She couldn't believe that Nalan Hushi actually allowed her maid to beat Mrs. Nalan. Mrs. Nalan was now unconscious. She didn't want to bring her over here initially, but thinking of Mrs. Nalan's identity as Hushi's stepmother, she still asked Mrs. Nalan to take the pill to suppress the madness and bring her over. However, she didn't expect Nalan Hushi to be so bold. She raised her eyebrows, pointed at Hushi and shouted sharply, "Nalan Hushi, are you crazy? She is your stepmother. You allow your maid to beat your stepmother. Are you not afraid of being condemned by God for offending and disobeying the elder?" Hushi looked at her disdainfully. "You, Nalan Yurong, are not afraid of being condemned by God for doing all the bad things. Why should I be afraid of?" Nalan Yurong felt a little thump in her heart. What did Nalan Hushi know? Did she know that when I was young, I caught a lot of innocent people to test medicine in order to learn how to refine the Shuejie pill taught by Master? Or did she know I committed the incident that Mammy Chen's cultivation was ruined for being wronged, harming her master? Nalan Yurong was shocked. When she saw Hushi's half-smiling face, she burst into anger. "Nalan Hushi, what nonsense are you talking about? Don't think that you can sit back and relax with King of Hell supporting you." A strong murderous intent flashed in her eyes, and she coldly looked at the shameless girl in front of her. "Nalan Hushi, if you die in this XINU house, I will strip off your clothes and put you together with the corpse of the servants. By the time, I will tell the people of King of Hell Mansion that you, slutty bitch, commit adultery with the servants, and you commit suicide due to shame for being caught on the spot. Do you really think Kingo of Hell Mansion will retrieve a dirty corpse by then?" Hushi said, "Oh," looked at Nalan Yurong with a half-smile, raised her eyebrows and said, "Does elder sister want to kill me? You can try it." Nalan Yurong's eyes shrank and she waved her hand. The Meridian stage martial artists behind her immediately rushed up and charged toward Hushi fiercely. But how would Qing Wan let them succeed? The long sword in her hand was launched, and her figure flew up. Clang! She alone blocked the attacks of several Meridian stage martial artists. Nalan Yurong looked at Qing Wan's terrifying skills and frowned fiercely. When she looked at Nalan Hushi again, she was already full of jealousy. "This maid is also given to you by King of Hell, right? The people of King of Hell Mansion are really powerful. However, one person can't fight with numerous people. Nalan Hushi, now no one can save you. Die now." As soon as Nalan Yurong spoke, her spiritual power spiked. The power of the Meridian stage burst out. In an instant, a huge water snake rose into the sky and rushed toward Hushi. Hushi watched as the oncoming turbulent water snake, and she was about to make a move, but there was a small black figure appeared in front of her suddenly. Little Golden Dragon's cocky voice could be heard. "Boss, it's not your turn to deal with this kind of character. Let me deal with her." As it said, it suddenly shot out a fire dragon. Although the fire dragon was not big, it completely evaporated the water snake when it wrapped around the water snake. Nalan Yurong's face was full of shock. Didn't they say that Nalan Hushi has no cultivation? Then how can she subdue spiritual pet? To subdue a high-level spiritual when signing a contract, it is easy to be backfired by the contract, making the martial artist seriously hurt. Nalan Hushi doesn't have any cultivation. How can she subdue the spiritual pet? Could it be that His Royal Highness King of Hell helped her? When he thought of this, Nalan Yurong's beautiful face was distorted. Everything in her heart and mind was replaced by hatred. How can Nalan Hushi, a bitch, be favored by the King of Hell? Why is it not me, Nalan Yurong? How am I incomparable to Nalan Hushi? After the water snake was put out, Little Golden Dragon triumphantly waved its tail at Hushi. "Boss, am I good?" As soon as it spoke, the other two also popped out of the void. The first one who came out was Little Dumb Cow. It had always been dumb and silly. When it came out of the void, it didn't maintain its balance well. and it directly fell with its head touching the ground first. With short hooves swaying in midair, he took a long time to roll over and get up. However, before he could stand firm, he saw a pink piglet falling from the sky and banging on it again, directly using him as a cushion. Little Egg raised his head, met Hushy's gaze, and immediately said with a cute smile, "Mom, we're here to help you." As he said, he stood up quickly and grinned at Nalan Yurong in front of him. "Really annoying, there are so many old women in this place. You all are obviously old and ugly, but you still covet my daddy. Such a character like you. How can you be comparable to my mom? You aren't even worthy of holding my mom's shoes." Emph. Little Dumb Cow crawled up in a stagger, trying to learn from Little Egg and staring at Nalan Yurong. But it was born with a pair of small green bean eyes. No matter how it glared, it didn't have any deterrence. It made it look more silly instead, making people couldn't help but want to laugh. Little Golden Dragon wagged his tail in the air and said, "What are you two guys doing? Didn't you see how handsome I just appeared? You two stupid look has just ruined my just handsome image. Go back, quickly go back." Hushy touched her forehead. "Little Dragon, do you think your dumb and cute Tyrannosaurus look is much better than them? I don't want to." Little Egg held his little paw and said angrily, "I also want to help my mother beat the bad guys. You are not allowed to drive us back, Little Dragon, or I won't play with you in the future." Only then the little Golden Dragon shut up dejectedly, but he still couldn't help mumbling, "Then you guys don't hold me back. I finally got a chance to perform in front of the boss." Nalan Yurong looked at Hushy's three little pets, who were dumb and young. She couldn't see the slightest spiritual power fluctuations all over her body. Suddenly, she changed from shock to ridicule. "You see, what kind of owner will have what kind of pets? A bunch of waste. Today, I will let you see what is a real spiritual pet." After speaking, Nalan Yurong made a seal on her left hand, and a majestic black panther appeared beside her instantly. Hushy recognized at a glance, this was a rank 4 magical beast, and it was also the black mountain panther that was rather powerful among the rank 4 magical beasts. Its specialty was fast speed and mastered wind and thunder element spells. As soon as the Black Panther appeared, it immediately roared in Hushy's direction with murderous intent in its eyes. Little Egg covered his nose and complained, "It smells so smelly. Really, what kind of owner will have what kind of spiritual pet? Never mind, the master is so old and ugly, even her spiritual pet is so stinky. Carrying such a stinky pet. Aren't you afraid of being stunk to death?" Little Golden Dragon also sneezed. He said disgustingly, "It's so stinky, let's get rid of it quickly, so as not to make our nose suffer." Little Dumb Cow was silly. Seeing that Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon were covering their noses, it slowly stretched out its paws to cover its nose too. A word came out of its mouth, "Stinky." Little Dumb Cow opened its mind later than Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon. It was only after being Hushy's spiritual pet and drinking the 9th secluded spirit spring, it gradually gained a little wisdom. It could speak a few words now. Of course, compared to the talkative Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon, it was totally incomparable. Nalan Yurong was trembling all over by their disgusting words. She waved her hand at the Black Panther and said angrily, "Tear all these wastes to pieces for me." After the Black Panther got the order, its figure instantly turned into lightning, rushing toward the three little ones. There was a gust of wind in the room, and there was also the crackling sound of thunder and lightning. The Black Panther was already agile, and with the acceleration of wind and thunder and lightning, it was as fast as lightning. Seeing that the three little ones were too late to react, and were about to be torn to pieces by the Black Panther, Nalan Yurong smiled triumphantly. However, the next moment, her smile froze at the corner of her mouth. There was only a loud bang in her ear. The Black Panther's figure in the air was suddenly bounced away. The huge Black Panther slammed into the shelf, and the things on the shelf fell to pieces. The Black Panther also convulsed on the ground. It got up in a stagger after a while, but its sobbing sound was full of pain. On the side of the three little ones, Little Dumb Cow used the protective shield to knock the panther away. Only now it reacted with hindsight. In fact, it activated its protective shield with its instinct. It didn't intend to use such a rough method to punish the Black Panther. Little Dumb Cow was depressed, But Little Egg ran over and touched its head. He praised him like an adult. "Little cow, good job." Little Dumb Cow suddenly turned from sad to joy. It had a happy face, which made Little Golden Dragon feel depressed. Nalan Yurong was stunned. They are obviously just 3 palm-sized pets without spiritual power fluctuations. Why can they knock back my spiritual pet? My Black Mountain Panther is the spiritual pet of the peak of the rank 4 magical beasts. Ordinary Meridian stage martial artists are definitely not its opponent. Nalan Yurong stared at the Black Mountain Panther on the side and screamed, "Get up now. If you don't punish them, I won't let you go after we go back." The Black Mountain Panther whimpered. Its body trembled. Then it had to cast the gale again and rushed toward the 3 little ones. This time Little Golden Dragon stopped in front of Little Egg and Little Dumb Cow. When the Black Mountain Panther rushed to his front, he released his powerful dragon demeanor. The dragon and the phoenix were the kings of the beasts. The golden flying dragon was even the high-ranked noble among the dragons. Wherever the dragon goes, all beasts will prostrate and worship the dragon. The Black Mountain Panther's body suddenly stopped in the air and began to tremble violently. Afterward, it seemed to be possessed. It slowly bent its knees, crawling in front of the Little Golden Dragon and making a murmur of surrendering sound. Little Golden Dragon was very satisfied with the dragon demeanor he released for the first time after being reborn. He flew a little forward and landed beside the Black Panther. He then said while looking up proudly, "You're a magical beast in the mountains. Why follow this vicious and shameless woman and let her use you? You even help her to do evil things?" The Black Mountain Panther made a whining sound as if telling something wronged and unwilling. Little Golden Dragon nodded twice as if showing kindness. "Well, since you are not willing, I will help you to get out of the possession of this woman." After speaking, he stretched out his paw, secretly bit one of his scales, then stuffed it into the Black Mountain Panther's mouth. As the scale entered the Black Mountain Panther's body, the Black Mountain Panther suddenly let out a long and stern cry. The black hairs all over its body erected. The next moment, the Black Mountain Panther jumped up into the sky, turned around, and stared at Nalan Yurong with a fierce look. At this moment, the majestic Black Panther in front of her was no longer her obedient pet, but a fierce beast that wanted to take her life. Nalan Yurong's eyes widened in horror, watching the scene before her in disbelief. She hadn't seen the action of Little Golden Dragon just now, so she couldn't understand why the little dragon just said a few words, and her pet panther rebelled against her. It even looked like wanting to eat her up. However, the Black Mountain Panther did not rush toward Nalan Yurong, but it turned around and whimpered twice to the Little Golden Dragon. It then broke through the roof, rose into the air, and disappeared in the sky. "Come back!" Nalan Yurong screamed. "You're my spiritual pet. Master helped me to subdue you with difficulty. How can you run away? You beast, come back now." What responded to her was the falling tiles from the roof, and the whistling wind as if mocking her for her stupidity and ignorance. Little Egg looked at Little Golden Dragon admiringly. His big eyes were gleaming. "Little Dragon, what did that stinky big panther say to you? You can actually understand the animal language? You are as good as Sister Xiaoli." Little Golden Dragon grabbed his dragon horn suddenly and laughed. "I don't understand. I just fooled the big black guy, but I didn't expect him to fall for it so easily. It must be that old woman is too annoying. That big black guy wanted to leave a long time ago. It just so happened that today I was kind and gave him a chance." The scales of the golden flying dragon had a powerful dragon demeanor. If the low-rank magical beasts consume it, it could strengthen the beast's aura in a short time and restrain the constraints of various arrays. Although the Black Mountain Panther had signed a master-servant contract with Nalan Yurong's cultivation was too low. In addition, she subdued the Black Mountain Panther with the help of the other, so it was unwilling. After it got the dragon scale, the Black Mountain Panther immediately got rid of the restraint of the master-servant contract and escaped. As soon as Little Egg heard that Little Golden Dragon could not understand animal language, he rolled his eyes and turned around with disgust to show his little butt. Little Dumb Cow also learned from him. It slowly turned around to show his butt to the Little Golden Dragon. It made Little Golden Dragon scream frantically. Boss, look at them, it's too much. Boss, you quickly teach them a lesson. Hushi facepalmed. She really had the illusion that she had opened a kindergarten to raise a group of problematic children. Nalan Yurong saw that her black mountain panther spiritual pet wasn't coming back, and her face was pale. She glared at Hushi, gritted her teeth and slowly said, Nalan Hushi, I think I have overestimated you again and again, but I didn't expect to underestimate you in the end. But, do you think that with these funny pets, you can really escape from my hands? Stop dreaming. Hushi pushed aside the table, stood up, and said leisurely, Who spares whose life, it's still uncertain yet. Okay. Very good. I will let you know today what is to die without an intact corpse. Nalan Yurong took out a pure black magic weapon similar to a compass as she spoke. As spiritual power was injected into the magic artifact, a cloud of black mist slowly formed above her head. Then it became larger and larger. With the appearance of the black cloud, the light in the entire room became dark. The air was also cold. The hole that was hit by the black mountain panther was also filled by the black cloud. In the room, the black cloud shrouded everyone, including Hushi and Nalan Yurong. In the next moment, a patter of rain began to fall below the black cloud. However, what was frightening was that these raindrops were not transparent water, but black liquid. The servants of Nalan Mansion, who was fighting with Qing Wan, suddenly screamed horribly when they encountered the falling raindrops. As soon as their clothes touched the raindrops, they were completely corroded. And their skin, when it touched the raindrops, it made a sizzling noise as if it was burning. In just a few moments, these martial artists of the Meridian stage were wounded, and their bodies were covered with bloody holes corroded by the black rain. Miss, save me, save us. Give me the cure. Those people rushed toward Nalan Yurong. Although she was also in the rain seemed to be rejected by the compass in her hand and avoided her, so she had not suffered any damage so far. Seeing the miserable appearances of those servants calling for her help, Nalan Yurong didn't see the slightest pity in his eyes. She ruthlessly avoided the martial artists who rushed over and said coldly, You can die under this death rain disc, peerless magic weapons, it is your honor. You should rest in peace. Nalan Yurong, you vicious woman, we came here to help you. Nalan Yurong, how can you treat us this way? Nalan Yurong snorted. After I smash Nalan Hushi into pieces, I will bury you all well. It is an honor for you all to die for me. After speaking, the compass in her hand turned abruptly, and the patter of rain suddenly became denser. Even Mrs. Nalan, who was overturned in a corner and unconscious, was also affected. It was just that she woke up in a muddle-headed manner, but she didn't seem to feel that half of her body was corroded by the rain at all. She even made a silly laughter. She had completely lost her mind. Qing Wan opened the defensive magic weapon at the first moment when she noticed that the rain had fallen, protecting Hushi and the three little ones under it. But seeing the horrible state of Nalan Yurong's guards, she still frowned. Miss, this rain is indeed a bit powerful. I can already feel the magic weapon being corroded, and its spiritual power has become thinner and thinner. I'm afraid I can't hold for long. Miss, you run away first. I will stay here and hold. Run? I have Death Rain disc in my hand. Where can Nalan Hushi, a bitch, escape? Ha 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 ha. Nalan Yurong laughed arrogantly. Nalan Hushi, I advise you to stop struggling. The poison in this Death Rain disc is mixed into the rain. It was refined by my master personally. So far, no one had survived after contacting this poison. So what if you use high-grade magic weapons to resist? This kind of poison can penetrate and corrode anything. It is just a matter of time that this magic weapon becomes a common item after its spirit being corroded. Nalan Yurong stared at Hushi closely, eager to see the expression of fear and pleading on her face. She continued, People who have been poisoned will see their flesh and skin melt bit by bit. Even if you get one drop of it, it will spread non-stop until your whole body corrodes. You will die in horrible pain. Nalan Hushi, if you are afraid, it is better to kill yourself now, lest you die without an intact body, ha ha ha. Hushi glanced at Mrs. Nalan on the side, raised her eyebrows and said, Your own mother has also been poisoned by this virulent poison. Are you not afraid of her poison spreading and die? Nalan Yurong snorted, her eyes full of disgust. Now this Nalan family is not a help to me, but a burden. I'm a disciple of Master Shukong, and a member of the Doctors' Association. If people know that my mother is a lunatic, how can I gain a foothold in the Doctors' Association in the future? Not to mention, my sister even married a stupid pig. They will only hinder me, humph. When I get Juku Lingshan Pill's prescription, Nalan family doesn't need to exist anymore. Tell me, will I care about the life and death of a crazy woman? Even Qing Luan was ruthless. She was stunned by the selfishness and indifference of Nalan Yurong. For the sake of her own future, this woman completely disregards the life and death of her mother and sister. Such a woman even dares to think of marrying my master, and it is disgusting to hear it. Nalan Yurong glanced at Qing Luan's magic weapon that was being corroded more and more, and she couldn't help laughing. Nalan Hushi, I see how long you can hold on. I'll stand here, waiting to see your pitiful scarred body. Oh, is it? Hushi raised the corner of her mouth, and her eyes were filled with disdain. She said slowly, it's just a mere heart-corroding mushroom, 1,000 gold vine, poison arrow weed. The poison that is configured wants to kill me. Haha, Nalan Yurong, are you looking down on others too much, or are you too stupid? What? Nalan Yurong's eyes widened in disbelief. You? How do you know that? Before she finished speaking, Hushi took out a bottle of powder and gave it to Little Golden Dragon. Little Golden Dragon smiled immediately after hearing Hushi's words. It swallowed the medicine powder. Then it started spraying water against the black cloud. After a while, the black cloud was still black, but the raindrops had turned into a transparent color, and there was no more corrosive effect. Nalan Yurong felt that there was no more corrosive toxicity in the falling rain, and she couldn't help screaming. What did you do? Hushi looked at her disdainfully with a faint smile. Can't you see what I have done? You dare to use this little trick to embarrass yourself? You even say that no one can explain it? Hee, the legendary Master Shukong is just so-so. Nalan Yurong couldn't believe her eyes. Is this ugly woman in front of me really Nalan Hushi? Isn't she a coward and incompetent trash that let others trample on her? Why can she crack the poison made by my master? When did Nalan Hushi become so scary? Nalan Yurong suddenly remembered that she heard her father and Nalan Ziyun secretly discussing several times, saying that they must get some kind of relic from Nalan Hushi. Could it be that the relic made that trash, Nalan Hushi, so powerful? Perhaps His Royal Highness King of Hell would look at this bitch differently, because he wanted to get the relic in her hands? Thinking of this, Nalan Yurong couldn't help but get excited. If I get the relic in Nalan Hushi's hand, does it mean that His Royal Highness King of Hell will look at me differently? Nalan Yurong took a deep breath, put away Death Rain Disc, and looked straight at Hushi. Nalan Hushi, you were still a trash a year ago, but now you can even cure my master's poison. Tell me honestly, is there any treasure in your hands? Hushi looked at her as if she was looking at an idiot. What are you? You think I'll do as you ask? Nalan Yurong's face was distorted for a while. What she hated most was Nalan Hushi's indifferent and contemptuous eyes, like she didn't put her in her eyes at all. I'm Nalan Yurong, the proudest son of the Nalan family. How can Nalan Hushi look down on me? How? Nalan Yurong gritted her teeth and said fiercely, Sister, let me give you an advice. It's best not to use the little bit of chips in your hand to show off your power. You think, with your half-year experience in the poisoning method, you can compare with my master? If I'm serious, you can't even fight back. If you are sensible, hand over the treasure in your hand, and I can still let you die with an intact corpse. Otherwise. Hushi chuckled lightly. Elder sister might as well take out all your trump cards. Third sister really wants to try them. According to the rumors, Master Shukong should have represented the pinnacle of the Miluo continent's doctor community, right? What Hushi said was not bluffing. She really wanted to see how good this another world medicine and poison master was. Good. Since you are looking for death, then I will fulfill you. As soon as Nalan Yurong spoke, the Death Rain Disc appeared in her hand again, and it was spinning quickly. It was just that this time it was not black clouds that appeared, but blood-red thunderclouds the size of a fist. The thunderclouds floated in the air with crackling noises one by one, and the air was faintly filled with a bloody and foul smell. As the thunderclouds contacted a table in Xianyu house, a ping-pong noise sounded. Immediately afterward, the table seemed to have been burnt down by fire, turning into powder in the blink of an eye. Qing Wan next to Hushi took a deep breath and murmured, "This is beauty meltbone, one of Miluo continent's top poisons. It is said that as long as it is a martial artist who has not reached the nascent soul stage, one drop is enough to kill the martial artist. His bones and flesh will shrink quickly, then he will turn to ashes in a short time." Nailin Yurong laughed when she heard Qing Wan's words. "You are quite knowledgeable. This is one of the most powerful poisons developed by the Doctors Association. I didn't want to use this to deal with you. It's not because beauty meltbone is rare and precious, but beauty meltbone, let you die too quickly and comfortably. I really don't want that to happen, ha ha ha." Qing Wan's eyes were obviously anxious, and she said in a tremble, "Miss, what should I do now? How about I protect you to rush out desperately? I have the best defense magic weapon given by the master. Even if my cultivation is ruined, I will get Miss out of here safely." However, Hushi's face did not have the panic that she should have. She looked at the fist-sized thunderclouds floating in the air with a half-smile, and her water spiritual power turned into filaments and probed out, touching these thunderclouds seemingly. The water spiritual power was swallowed up as soon as it hit the thundercloud. But Hushi's face showed a faint smile. "Miss, don't hesitate anymore, let's go." Qing Wan shouted anxiously. Nailin Yurong laughed triumphantly when she heard Qing Wan's words. "Do you think you can still leave now? Stop dreaming? Of course we can't go." Hushi sneered. "But why should we go? Qing Wan, you haven't seen my way of healing and poisoning, right?" Qing Wan said. "Huh?" Her eyes widened in surprise. Little Golden Dragon and Little Egg, who had been silent for a while, started chatting immediately. They weren't anxious at all. "Boss, let this shameless arrogant old woman see how good you are." "Yes, that's right. My mom is very skillful. Who does she think she is? Mom can defeat her in an instant. What kind of stuff is this? My mother can solve it in minutes." Qing Wan kept her mouth wide open. She said in her heart, "This is beauty meltbone. Miluo continent's one of the most poisonous toxin. Even Wu Xing will have a trouble dealing with it. Why are Miss and her spiritual pet so calm?" As she was thinking about it, a purple vine appeared in Hushi's hand. The purple leaves on the vine swayed gently as if expressing excitement. Hushi reached out and touched the top of Purple Abyss Vine, and she chuckled. "Don't worry, this beauty meltbone is still kind of powerful. If you just go on it like that, maybe you will be corroded into ashes. Let me coat with a protective film on your vines first." After speaking, Hushi's palm had some light golden powder on her palm. She stretched out her hand and gently wiped it on the vines of Purple Abyss Vine. The original purple vines were dyed with glittering color. Purple Abyss Vine suddenly made a rustling sound as if expressing uncomfortable and itchy. Little Egg clapped and laughed. "Auntie Little Purple has turned golden. She looks good. Shouldn't we call her Auntie Little Golden from now on?" Purple Abyss Vine suddenly became even more unhappy, shaking her leaves in protest. Hushi patted it and smiled. "Okay, go. Go and swallow up all the energy in those bloody thunderclouds. When you deal with these thunderclouds, I will remove the golden powder for you. The energy in these thunderclouds is delicious and suitable for you. If you don't eat it, I will destroy them all." Purple Abyss Vine immediately stopped protesting. She raised her long purple gold vines, excitedly rushing toward the nearest few thunderclouds. Seeing Hushi's actions and the purple vines that appeared out of thin air, Nailin Yurong couldn't help but sneered contemptuously. "Idiot, you think this little demonic plant can resist the corrosion of the beauty meltbone? Ha ha ha, stop dreaming." Seeing that the bloody thunderclouds gathered more and more, they had already surrounded Nailin Hushi, sealing off her way to retreat. Nailin Yurong couldn't help being more excited. "Soon, you will become a pile of ashes under beauty meltbone." However, Before Nalan Yurong hadn't finished speaking, her eyes widened suddenly, and she let out a sharp roar. How is this possible? The purple vine went inside the bloody thunderclouds. But it didn't turn into ashes by the toxin. It even devoured the thunderclouds completely. After swallowing the thunderclouds, the excited main vine of purple abyss vine trembled. It's so delicious. It is even more delicious than those demonic plants in 100 herb mist. After purple abyss vine swallowed a thundercloud, it turned around excitedly and started to swallow the second, third. As Nalan Yurong and Qing Luan were astounded, purple abyss vine swallowed up the bloody thunderclouds created by Death Rain Disc in just a few seconds. Impossible. Impossible. How is this possible? Nalan Yurong kept backing away while screaming. This is beauty meltbone can even devour the rank 6 demonic plant completely. Why can a vine swallow thunderclouds? Qing Luan's face was also full of disbelief. She couldn't believe her eyes at all. When she looked at Hushi again, her gaze was not just worship, but the fanatic's enthusiasm for watching an idol. Our princess is really amazing. No wonder even Qing Long, who always alienates himself, said that the only person on Miluo continent who can heal master is our princess. When Purple Abyss Vine returned to Hushi, all the vines seemed to become fatter. They couldn't even shake. But she was still shaking her leaves happily, and there was a grunting sound from time to time as if it was belching. Hushi didn't know whether to laugh or cry as she felt the excitement of Purple Abyss Vine. She gently touched her vines, and the golden powder instantly disappeared without a trace. Nalan Yurong stared at Hushi. Finally, her arrogant voice seemed to have a tremor of fear. Nalan Hushi, who are you? Why can you neutralize the beauty meltbone? What did your demonic plant just do? Hushi raised her eyebrows and looked at her with a light smile. Her eyes were full of seeming contempt. Nalan Yurong, don't you want to know how capable am I? Today I will open your eyes and let you know what is the real poison. As soon as she spoke, Hushi's wrist turned over, and dozens of thin invisible needles appeared on her fingertips. Unlimited silver needles were launched toward Nalan Yurong. The silver needle was so slender that it was almost invisible, but Nalan Yurong seemed to be able to feel the cold and bloody smell in the air. Extreme fear surged in Nalan Yurong's heart. Hushi can even crack beauty meltbone. How terrifying it is if she uses her poison. If I'm poisoned by this poison, wouldn't I be utterly dead? No. I'm so young, so beautiful, and so talented. How can I die? Nalan Yurong was panicked, but the invisible needles were in front of her. Her mind went blank. She grabbed Mrs. Nalan by the side and put her in front without thinking. Ah! Mrs. Nalan, who was originally crazy, made a sharp scream. All of the invisible needles landed on her body. Later, she was quickly thrown aside like some terrible garbage by Nalan Yurong. Mrs. Nalan's body twitched violently, and her cloudy eyes suddenly became clear. She looked at Nalan Yurong in disbelief. The eldest daughter whom she spoiled for a lifetime. Nalan Yurong was looking at Nalan Hushi with horror and resentment, but she batted an eye on her biological mother. Mrs. Nalan opened her mouth with difficulty and muttered, Yurong, how can you? However, before she finished speaking, she suddenly let out a painful moan. Itchy. It's so itchy. Immediately afterward, she began to scratch her whole body frantically. Her face, neck, hands, and even the clothes she had worn on her body were torn apart vigorously. Her long nails scratched into the flesh without stopping. Only a moment later, Mrs. Nalan's entire face was badly mutilated with flesh and blood from her scratches. There was almost no intact skin left on her whole body, especially when she couldn't catch her back. She kept rubbing and rolling on the ground, making a stern sound in her mouth. The horror and miserable was indescribable. Nalan Yurong was shocked by the scene in front of her. She imagined that if the person who had been poisoned just now was herself, wouldn't all her beauty and appearance be ruined? She took a deep breath. Her gaze looking at Nalan Hushi was not just hate, but a deep fear. Hushi looked at her with a sneer. Nalan Yurong, you just asked me just now whether I should get God's retribution for hitting my stepmother. Nalan Yaru is your mother. You actually used her as a shield. Aren't you afraid of God's retribution? So what about that? Nalan Yurong gritted her teeth. Her voice was trembling, but her tone was full of indifference. I'm the best child of Nalan family and the hope for the future of Nalan family. She is just a crazy madam without any power. There is no need to think about whether whose life is more important. She is my mother. She naturally has to give up her life for me. What's more, if you didn't try to kill me, how did my mother end up like this? Nalan Hushi, you vicious bitch, you dare to complain that to me first? Nalan Yurong said with great joy, but she did not see tears in the eyes of her mother, who was rolling on the ground. Her eyes were full of disappointment. Hushi was amused by the speech of this elder sister. If she wants to kill me, I can't fight back? If I fight back, I'm a vicious bitch? The logic of the Nalan family is still shameless. Hushi was about to speak when suddenly Nalan Jung's majestic voice came from outside the door. What happened? What's so noisy? I can even hear it in the front yard. XINU house had just broken the roof, and there was another fierce fight. Of course, the people at Nalan Mansion would hear the movement. Moreover, Hushi had no intention of covering it up. Nalan Yurong saw Nalan Jungza as if she had seen a savior, and said with sobs, Father, save mother quickly. Nalan Hushi actually poisoned her and threatened to kill me. Nalan Jungza, who had just entered the room, immediately looked at his bloody wife, who was rolling and wailing on the ground, and he was shocked. He looked at Nalan Hushi viciously. You animal, you dare to attack your stepmother. Today I will not let you go. A triumphant smile flashed in Nalan Yurong's eyes, but she cried. Father, you quickly find a way to save mother. Don't you have Jukulingshan pill? That pill can cure all kinds of poison. It will definitely save mother. There was indeed a Jukulingshan pill on Nalan Jungza, which he left after refining today, but he originally planned to keep it for emergencies. Nalan Jungza didn't want to admit that she, the woman who was no different as a ghost, was his wife, let alone save her. But facing his daughter's request, he still took out the Jukulingshan pill. Nalan Yurong took Jukulingshan pill with a trace of greed and desire in her eyes. This time, apart from investigating Shengda Hall's situation, her master also asked her to find the Jukulingshan pill's formula from home. Master had promised that as long as she gets the Jukulingshan pill formula, she will be admitted to the Doctors Association's inner hall and be promoted to the 5th grade doctor. Even if this Jukulingshan pill was the future and hope of the Nalan family, for her own future, she Nalan Yurong must get it. Nalan Yurong lowered her eyebrows, kept the ambition in her eyes, knelt down and helped Mrs. Nalan up. Although Mrs. Nalan looked like a horrible ghost now, her sanity at this time was clear. So in her daughter's arms, she saw with her own eyes that Nalan Yurong secretly hid the Jukulingshan pill that she got from Nalan Jungza's arms, but she gave her another very similar red medicinal pills. Mrs. Nalan moaned, and her heart was cold. There was a strong resentment in her heart. Nalan Yurong, this is my eldest daughter whom I loved and cared for 20 years. Everything I did was for her, and I gave everything to her. But how does she treat me now? She didn't save her younger sister Nalan Feishua. She used me as a shield, and now she wanted to watch me die for a Jukulingshan pill. Nalan Yurong, how can you be so outrageously immoral and conscienceless? Mrs. Nalan's chest surged with anger. Her mind went blank suddenly, and she passed out. Nalan Yurong let go of Mrs. Nalan, who spat out white foam and blood and fainted, and exclaimed, Mother! Mother! She pretended to be panicked and looked at Nalan Jungza. Father, what should I do? Even Jukulingshan pill can't cure the poison on mother. Of course, Jukulingshan pill couldn't cure all the poisons in the world. At least the deadly poisons like blood drunk and beauty meltbone couldn't be cured. However, how many strange deadly poisons could there be in this world? Nalan Jungza's face became extremely ugly. She looked at Nalan Hushi with eyes full of gloominess and hatred. Impudent child, how do you get the poison? Say it quickly. Hushi looked at the reaction of Nalan Jungza and Nalan Yurong, and she was amused. The two Nalan family members in front of them were really cold-blooded. One used her own mother as a shield, and the other saw that his wife was so miserable, but he cared more about the origin of the poison rather than saving her. Hushi didn't have to think to figure out why Nalan Jungza cared so much about the origin of the poison. Isn't he just want to get Ling Yue's relic from me? As for the life and death of Mrs. Nayland, no one cares, and no one asked her to cure the poison on Mrs. Nayland. Haha, it's so sad enough to think about it. Thinking of this, Hushi made a mocking smile and looked at Nayland Jungza coldly. Why should I tell you? Nayland Jungza stretched out his hand and patted it on the table. Animal, I'm your father. Is that how you talk to your father? Hushi raised her eyebrows, looked straight into Nayland Jungza's eyes, and then slowly uttered a few words. My father? Nayland Jungza, are you worthy? Bitch. Animal. Who taught you to treat your father this way? Did you know that disobedience and unfilial piety will face the gods' retribution? Hushi sneered, her tone full of indifference. I face the gods' retribution for being unfilial to my biological father. But Nayland Jungza, are you my father? What? Nayland Jungza shuddered, and his eyes widened in disbelief. Hushi stared tightly into his eyes, saying word by word, Nayland Jungza, are you really my father? Are you worthy? Being stared at by Hushi's faintly purple phoenix eyes, Nayland Jungza only felt a shock in his mind, as if he had seen the familiar figure saying with the same cold and alienated voice. Almost reflexively he exclaimed, You know already? As soon as Nayland Jungza said this, Nayland Yurong's eyes widened suddenly. She looked at Nayland Jungza in surprise, then looked at Nayland Hushi again. What does father mean? Nayland Hushi is not a child of the Nayland family? Who is she then? Hushi sneered. Know what? Know that you are not my biological father? Know that you let Nayland Ziyun impersonate my own brother? Know that you do so much just to get my mother's relic from me? As Hushi said, Nayland Jungza's face became more and more gloomy. His gaze stared at Hushi like a poisonous snake, and he slowly said, You really knew it. You still acted in front of me. You as shameless as your mother. He took a deep breath and sneered. Since you know it, you'd better hand over what I want. Don't say that you don't have your mother's relics, otherwise, with your original waste and cowardly appearance, how can you have the glory you have nowadays? Thinking of the medicine bottle he received a few days ago, he wished he could tear Nayland Hushi this bitch to pieces. You bitch! Even if I'm not your biological father, I still raised you up after all. Your mother's relic, you would rather give it to outsiders like Shiyu and King of Hell than giving it to me. You are so ungrateful. Aren't you afraid of being punished by God's retribution? Nayland Yurong, who was listening by the side, looked even more shocked. It could only be described as horrified. Shiyu? Isn't Shiyu the owner of Shengda Hall? That amazing young doctor? Could it be that Nayland Hushi handed over the relic in her hands to Shiyu, so that she can achieve what she has now? All the best quality pills in Shengda Hall come from the relic in the hands of Nayland Hushi? Thinking of this, Nayland Yurong was agitated. If I obtain this relic, doesn't it mean that I can be powerful in the Doctors' Association? Even His Royal Highness King of Hell will come to marry her. Hushi finally couldn't help laughing after hearing this. Nayland Jungza, you all conscienceless people of the Nayland family, why do you all always like to say God's retribution? If conscienceless people should be punished by God, shouldn't you all the first to be punished? Nayland Jungza's face was distorted for a while. He didn't know how much Hushi knew, but at this time he dared not say more. However, Nayland Jungza immediately calmed down after thinking of another matter. He looked at Hushi coldly and said, Hee, you can continue to be arrogant in front of me. But you may not know, you are already inflicted by my poison. After 3 days at most, the poison on your body will be triggered. As long as you give me your mother's relic, I will give you the antidote. How about that? Nayland Zengzahaf looked at Hushi with a smile. His heart was filled with certainty. I know you have gained some skills after getting your mother's relic, but this poison is definitely not something you can neutralize. This poison comes from Thousand Poison Valley. Except for Thousand Poison Valley owner who has an antidote, it cannot be cured at all. With your level, you can only wait for death. Hushi sighed, watching Nayland Jungza and his daughter's eyes full of pity and sarcasm. She said leisurely, Why poison again? It is even a poison that no one can cure. Hee. This poison is indeed interesting. The main medicine is intestine sever powder, which is obviously a poison, but it is colorless and tasteless, and there is no response after taking it. It can also delay the onset of the poison. The reason is that it is added with 1,000 phantoms gallon, right? 1,000 phantoms gallon, that is a demonic plant that has disappeared in the Miluo continent, and it may not even be found in the magical beast forest. You actually use such a precious medicine on me. I'm really flattered. Nalanjungza was shocked. His eyes were full of horror. How do you know? Nalanjungza and Nalan Yurong were really father and son. They reacted in sync. Although the girl in front of her didn't look amazing, her phoenix eyes were gleaming as she slightly squinted. She was obviously a thin and weak girl, but she was looking down on him like a god looking down at a mortal. Nalanjungza trembled all over. He almost couldn't help exclaiming, "Enlingyue." At this moment he seemed to see the shadow of Enlingyue. The person who looked at him was no longer the useless Nalan Hushi, but the pretty and talented Enlingyue. Nalanjungza took a step back subconsciously. Then he recollected his mind. He squeezed his fist in anger, and he stared at Hushi fiercely. "Bitch, even if you realize that it is 1,000 phantasms gallon, there is no way for you to cure its poison. You better hand out the item otherwise." Before Nalanjungza finished speaking, there was a sudden rush of footsteps behind him. Master. It's not good." The butler rushed to Nalanjungza with a head full of sweat. "Master, you should go to the front hall quickly." "What happened? Why are you making a fuss?" Nalanjungza stared at the housekeeper sternly. But the housekeeper didn't seem to notice Nalanjungza's annoyance at all. He just trembled with fear and panic. "Master, the people who bought Juku Lingshan pill before have come. They said that there is a problem with the medicinal pills they bought. They all come to ask for an explanation. Master, you should go and see now." Nalanjungza exclaimed, "How is this possible?" His face was full of horror and confusion. "I have been refining the Juku Lingshan pill with the same method. How anything go wrong? If Juku Lingshan pill has a problem, what hope does my Nalan family have?" Nalanjungza was anxious, and his hands shook slightly. "You go to the front hall to comfort the guests first, then tell them I will be there soon." After the butler left, Nalanjungza gave Hushi a fierce look, and he said to the guards beside him, "Guard this Xinu house properly. If this bitch escapes, I will let you all die without a place to bury." After he finished speaking, he hurried away, because he was so flustered that he almost tripped over his own feet when he left the courtyard. Hushi looked at Nalanjungza's leaving back, and she couldn't help showing a mocking smile. Nalan Yurong, who was still in the room, stared greedily and hatefully at Hushi. Finally, she couldn't help asking, "Sister, what is the relic in your hand? Is it the best quality pill of Shengda Hall?" Hushi turned around and looked at her with a half-smile. She didn't speak. Nalan Yurong clenched her fists, trying to maintain her kind and gentle expression. "Sister, you just heard what father said. You have been poisoned by him, and he will never let you go. Father has always been cruel. If you fall into his hands, even if you hand over your mother's relic, you will never end well. Why don't you give me that relic?" Hushi raised his eyebrows. "Give it to you? Why? Just because you just wanted to kill me over and over again?" Nalan Yurong's eyes flashed gloomily. She said coldly, "Nalan Hushi, you better don't be ungrateful. I ask you to hand over the relic because I want to help you. I'm the disciple of Master Shukong. Even father has to give face to me. Only I can save you now. If you hand over the relic obediently, I can still plead for you in front of my master. Maybe he will also accept you as a registered discipline. Then your future will be very promising. Otherwise, you will wait for the rest of your life to be locked in a dungeon by father, and spend the rest of your life in darkness. Which choice is better? Don't you understand it?" Hushi shook her head and smiled. "Elder sister is right. After seeing you and Nalanjungza, I also changed my mind a little. Are you going to give me your mother's relic?" Nalan Yurong thought she had finally compromised, and her whole body trembled with excitement. "Quick! Show me those pill formulas." Hushi shook her head again and slowly said, I initially planned to keep you and Nalanjungza to slowly torment you too so that you too will die after suffering. But now I have changed my mind. Nalan, all your behaviors really disgust me. I have decided, you will die now. As soon as she spoke, the sky full of purple vines whizzed up into the sky, enveloping this small room and isolating time and void. The guards left by Nalanjungza were guarding outside the room, and Nalanjungza had never thought that his elder daughter, who was at the peak of the meridian stage, would lose to Nalanhushi, so he didn't let those guards in either. Now, the purple vines covered the hut, which meant an enchantment was set up. It isolated sound and movement. Even those guards looked inside. They couldn't notice any strange. Nalan eyes widened in horror, feeling the majestic spiritual power surging at her. She couldn't believe what she saw. Isn't that Nalanhushi can't cultivate? Didn't she have no cultivation? Why is she exuding such a terrifying spirit pressure, and showing such a powerful force? Nalan desperately backed away, trying to escape. She said in a trembled voice, Who exactly are you? Hushi chuckled and did not answer. As her finger channeled spiritual power, the sharp purple vines suddenly rushed toward Nalan. Now Hushi's true strength had reached the terrifying advanced level of the gold core stage. Although her cultivation level was still the meridian stage, it was definitely not something that an ordinary meridian stage cultivator, like Nalan could resist. She didn't even have the power to resist Hushi's one blow. There was a terrifying whipping sound in her ears, followed by a sharp pain in my shoulders, stomach and hands and feet. Nalan couldn't even react. Then she was pierced by purple vines. Fear and despair overwhelmed her. Looking at Hushi, she felt for the first time the horror and cruelty of her sister she had looked down on before. Am I going to die here? Nalan felt that the purple vines that had pierced her body began to suck her flesh and blood. And this acknowledgement almost made her lose her mind. Do not. I don't want to die here. Let alone dying in the bitch. Nalanhushi's hands. I still want to become famous in the Miluo continent. I also want to marry His Royal Highness King of Hell. I also want to become a pillar of the Doctors' Association. Ah! Nalan let out a scream. Then she suddenly crushed an inscribed jade slip in her hand. Immediately afterward, a violent light burst out of the inscribed jade slip, covering her body. Hushi frowned. She felt a magical and powerful array force in the inscribed jade slip. It was similar to the teleportation array. Now Nalan was being taken to an unknown place by this force. Nalan stared at Nalanhushi viciously, gritted his teeth, and said word by word. You actually hurt me to such extent, Nalanhushi, what you did to me today. One day I will let you pay the price for thousands of times. Bitch, just you wait. If she could, she didn't want to use this inscribed random teleportation jade slip at all. Although this inscribed jade slip could help her escape the danger of death, she didn't know where it would take her. It may be the abyss. It may be the 1,000-year-old ice field. It may be the magical beast forest. If she was randomly teleported to such a place, her survival rate wouldn't even have 30%. All this is because of the bitch, Nalanhushi. Seeing Nalan who had completely disappeared on the spot, Hushi frowned. She didn't expect Nalan to be able to run away. Inscribed teleportation jade slip? Last time in Breaking Spirit Mountain, that Mr. Mu seemed to have used it too. I didn't expect there are so many applications of array in the Miluo continent. It seems that I have to find an opportunity to study it. Qing Wan leaned close to Hushi and frowned. Miss, is it okay to let Nalan run away? She already knows that Miss has cultivation. And she also knows that you are not the biological daughter of the Nalan family. If she spreads out the news, and she is even Master Shukong's discipline if she reports to her master, it doesn't matter. Hushi said lightly. I have never intentionally concealed my true identity. I just don't want too much troubles. As for the Doctors' Association, even if there is no Nalan, as long as Shengda Hall is still working with Shen family to break their monopoly, one day they will still come to me. There is nothing to worry about. Qing Wan nodded, and her expression also relaxed. She remembered Nalanjungza who had just left in a hurry, and she couldn't help but curiously ask, Miss, What happened to Nailinjing's medicine? Isn't Jukulingshan pill Nailinjing's unique secret? Why is there a problem now? She glanced at her and said with a half-smile. Unique secret? Haha, it has become life-threatening curse now. You and I just need to wait here to watch the show. Qing Luan's eyes lit up, looking forward to the next scandal of the Nailin family. By this time, Nailinjingza had hurried to the front hall of the Nailin family. Before he entered the door, he saw a man wearing brocade rushing up and grabbing his collar. He angrily said, Nailinjingza, I the prince, ordered Jukulingshan pill with you for the first time to use this medicinal pills to save my beloved wife. You actually use such a thing to fool me? Now that my beloved wife was dead, you will pay the price with your life. Nailinjingza was grabbed by the collar as soon as he came in. He stumbled for being grabbed, and he felt very dizzy. All his ears were filled with angry roars from the people. There were also chattering sounds of other people behind him. Everyone was spitting on his face. He couldn't react to it for a while. When he finally recovered, he pushed away the person who was grabbing him, and he finally saw the person's looks. The person was the sixth prince of the Jinling kingdom, Shangguan Heng, and the nephew of Zhu family Zhu Yichun. At this time, Shangguan Heng was full of anger, and the grace and composure he had when he helped Zhu Yichun to propose marriage together had disappeared. Shangguan Heng's words even made Nailinjing's heart stunned. Is there really something wrong with Jukulingshan pill? This is impossible. It must be because the illness of the sixth prince's wife was not caused by poisoning. Thinking of this, Nailinjingza cleared his throat and said sternly, Sixth prince, please don't simply put the blame on me. The Jukulingshan pill of my Nailin family has never had a problem. How many people have been saved by these medicinal pills? Sixth prince, your wife could not be saved. Maybe it was because your concubine was not poisoned, but it was another strange disease. When the sixth prince heard this, he was furious and interrupted sharply. You dare to say that I'm blaming you? It's just that before the sixth prince finished speaking, an old man with a white beard came forward and smashed a red medicinal pill at Nailinjing's face. It was possible that the sixth prince's wife wasn't poisoned, but it wasn't my first time buying this medicine from miracle healer Nailin. Therefore, it is impossible to not know the authenticity of Jukulingshan pill, right? Nailinjingza, we give you face by calling you a miracle healer. Do you really think an old man like me is easy to bullied with? You actually used the fake medicinal pill to fool us. The red medicinal pill, that was thrown at Nailinjingza, was picked up by him. When he looked up and saw the face of the person who was questioning, his heart beat. He spoke in a tremble. Elder Han, why did you say this? My Jukulingshan pill never has any problem with it. The white-bearded elder was one of the elders of the Shuiyu sect. Although he was not yet at the nascent soul stage, he was already the pinnacle of the gold core stage. He had some status in the Shuiyu sect, and he was definitely not someone Nailinjingza could afford to offend. Hearing Nailinjingza's words, Elder Han sneered. You really think I'm an old fool? I still can't distinguish whether the medicinal pills are useful or not. Today, we will forget it if you give us the real Jukulingshan pill as compensation. Otherwise, I will destroy your Nailin mansion. Elder Han's words caused other people who were deceived to curse loudly. You Nailinjingza are so great. You actually dared to use fake pills to fool us. Are we really so easy to fool? Are you getting so old and useless that you can't even refine Jukulingshan pill? If that's the case, repay us double the price we paid. Yes, either double repayment or give us the Jukulingshan pill. Otherwise we will smash Nailin mansion. Nailinjingza only felt a buzzing in his ears. His heart was full of panic and anxiety. But he still didn't believe that his Jukulingshan pill would go wrong. Therefore, he picked up the red medicinal pill and stuffed it into his mouth. However, after the medicinal pills entered the body, the original clear and mellow vitality did not appear as usual. Has Jukulingshan pill really lost its effectiveness? But why? I obviously used the same refining method. Nailinjingza murmured. Impossible. It's impossible for it to be ineffective. How could it be possible? Is this a fake Jukulingshan pill? Yes, it must be fake. This is not my Jukulingshan pill. Before Nalanjungza had finished speaking, Elder Han waved his hand and slapped his face ruthlessly. Nalanjungza was caught off guard. He rolled on the ground hard, knocking his head on the pillar. Blood was streaming out, making him look very embarrassed. Elder Han looked at him viciously. Nalanjungza, you actually accused me of fooling you with a fake Jukulingshan pill. Are you tired of living? Among the people who came to complain, one of them mingled with the gangsters. When he saw that Nalanjungza was being slapped by Elder Han like nobody and he noticed that Nalanjungza couldn't take out any real Jukulingshan pill, he suddenly shouted. Nalanjungza even dared to slander Elder Han. It seems that he is not ready to compensate us for our losses. We might as well smash the Nalan family to express our anger. That's right, who knows if Nalanjungza can produce the real Jukulingshan pill tomorrow. If he can't take it out for 1 day, we'll smash for 1 day. If he can't take it out for 2 days, we will smash for 2 days until he compensates us for the loss. This person's proposal immediately got everyone's response. Martial artists generally had storage devices. Of course, they knew that Nalanjungza wouldn't put too many valuable treasures in the mansion. But since they were fooled by Nalanjungza with fake medicinal pills, it would be good to vent their anger by smashing his house. Nalanjungza was having a chest pain being slapped by Elder Han. Seeing this group of people swarming into his home and smashing everything, he suddenly felt blood surged from his chest and spewed another mouthful of blood. Stop it! You guys stop it! The group didn't go to the backyard. They just smashed the front yard of the Nalan mansion and returned to the main hall with satisfaction. Elder Han looked at Nalanjungza condescendingly and said coldly, Nalanjungza, I will give you 3 more days. If you can hand over the real Jukulingshan pill, then I'll forget it. Otherwise, don't blame me Shueyu sect for being rude. After speaking, he walked away angrily with Shueyu sect's disciples. The 6th prince also walked up to Nalanjungza and looked at him contemptuously. It turns out that the name of the number 1 miracle healer in the Jinling kingdom is fake. If you can't hand over Jukulingshan pill this time, I will report to my father. Your miracle healer title will be removed from now on. After 6th prince left, other sects and families ran over to sneer at Nalanjungza. The gangster martial artist even spat at Nalanjungza before he swayed away. Nalanjungza stumbled into the messy living room. His body was shaking. Nalanjungza had enjoyed glory for a lifetime. He had never suffered such humiliation. Jukulingshan pill. Why does Jukulingshan pill fail? Nalanjungza stood up abruptly from the ground. Ignoring the pain in his chest, he hurriedly walked toward his study room. After entering the underground cave, he saw the figure still curled up on the ground wearing a helmet. Nalanjungza thought of the humiliation he had just received, and anger rose from his heart. Why? Why does Jukulingshan pill fail? Son of bitch, are you trying to mess with me? Nalanjungza whipped the medicine man in the cave. As the barbed whip hit on the medicine man, he screamed in pain. But Nalanjungza still didn't feel relieved. He stepped forward and severely stepped and broke the medicine man calf bone. Amid the crisp breaking sound, the medicine man let out a miserable howl. The sound even made the entire iron helmet hum. Nalanjungza finally felt a little satisfied. He threw away his whip and sneered. You'd better pray that your blood is still useful, otherwise, I will let you taste absolute desperation. After speaking, he took the knife and cut open the arm of the medicine man. But Nalanjungza deliberately used spiritual power to explore this time. He found that there was indeed no strong vitality in the blood. Moreover, the scars on the arms of this medicine man should be healed in at most 1 night. But now after using external injury medicine, it didn't heal even after a few days. Could it be that the blood of medicine man really lose its effectiveness? No, this is absolutely impossible. Nalanjungza took the bowl of blood unwillingly and went to the backyard. He casually grabbed a servant, fed him a deadly poison, and poured the blood of the medicine man into his mouth. However, after a few seconds, the servant rolled his eyes and vomited bubbles. He was utterly dead. At this moment, Nalanjungza was really scared. Jukulingshan pill is the foundation of my life. If I lose Jika pill, how can I, Nalinjingza, ever be famous again? How can I gain a foothold in the Doctors Association? How can I become the first miracle healer in the Jinling Kingdom? Why? Why does the blood that can cure all poisons fail? Is it because that animal's special physique was squeezed too much by himself? And now it is finally worn away, it will no longer be useful? What should I do in the future? How can I refine Jika? How can I support the Nalan family? Thinking of the cruel words of Elder Han and the others and the today and the blame he was going to face tomorrow, Nalan Jingza looked terrified. He couldn't help tremble for a moment. Suddenly, the image of Enlingyue and Nalan Hushi appeared before his eyes. Enlingyue's relic. Nalan Jingza woke up suddenly. Yes, now only Enlingyue's relic can save the Nalan family. I must get it. He now had no way out. The only way was to force Nalan Hushi to hand over the prescription for the best quality pill. That's right, as long as I have the best quality pill formula like the bone muscle enhancement pill, let alone Elder Han, even the Doctors Association will treat me as an honorable guest. Until then, do I still need Jika pill? Thinking of this, Nalan Jingza immediately clapped. Soon several guards dressed in black appeared in front of him. These people were the dead soldiers raised by the Nalan family. Although some of them were dead in order to spy Nalan Hushi some time ago, many of them still followed Nalan Jingza. Nalan Jingza said with a sullen face, "Tie up that bitch and bring her to my study room. Everything must be brought here, including her maids and her belongings." The guard quickly lowered his head. "Yes, master." Looking at the direction of the guard disappearing, Nalan Jingza's mouth showed a sinister smile. After about 15 minutes, Nalan Jingza, who was sitting in the study room, turned around when he heard the sound. The door of the study room was pushed open, and Nalan Hushi and her maid named Qing Wan appeared at the door of the study room. But to Nalan Jingza's surprise, Nalan Hushi was not tied up. She walked into his study room with a smile instead. Nalan Jingza's face changed uncertainly, and he said solemnly, "Where are the people I sent to bring you here?" Hushi smiled without answering him. It was Qing Wan who replied coldly, "Is Nalan Jingza talking about the stinky man who wanted to control us as he entered Xinu house? Sorry, I see that he had ill intention, so I have beheaded him." "You, how dare you?" Nalan Jingza's face was extremely ugly. He was looking at Qing Wan with fear. Hushi didn't even look at Nalan Jingza at all. She calmly found a place to sit down. Then she said, "Master Nalan, what do you want to call me here? I'll leave if there is nothing." Nalan Jingza looked at him sullenly. His eyes were like a poisoned sword. "Are you still reluctant to hand over the things?" Hushi smiled slightly. "I'm sorry, I don't understand what Master Nalan wants me to handle." Nalan Jingza sneered. "Nalan Hushi, you can still be stubborn, but when you see him, you will know that you have no capital to play tricks with me." "Oh." Hushi raised his eyebrows. "Then I'm really curious. What does Master Nalan want me to see?" Nalan Jingza squinted, got up and walked to the array. He casually did something at the array, and the door of the secret room was opened. The figure who was tied behind the secret room's door fell down. Nalan Jingza pulled him out mercilessly, stepped on his chest, and looked at Hushi with a snur. "Do you know who this person is?" The person he stepped on was covered with dirt. This man was wearing an iron helmet on his head. His hands were covered with scars. A huge scar on his hands was still bleeding. The leg bones of his two lower legs were fractured. When he crawled, the injury made him so painful that he kept groaning in pain. Hushi's expression was calm. She did not answer his words, but she slowly asked, "Compared with who this person is, I'm more curious about who is my biological father?" "Father, how do you all have father? You all are illegitimate child." Once someone asked this question, Nalan Jingza could no longer maintain his original calmness. He almost roared hysterically. Enlingyue, that flirtatious woman, was pregnant when she came to Nalan Mansion. She even used the pill formula to threaten me to protect her. She let me hide her in the Nalan family as my concubine. Since she has become my concubine, she is naturally my woman. Why didn't she let me touch her? She even cautiously alienated from me. Every day, She pretended to be aloof and inviolable in front of me. Pooey. Bitch. Who knows how many men she had slept with? Naelanjungza became more and more excited as she spoke. Ha ha ha. If that bitch knew that her 2 children were miserably tortured by me, she must regret not submitting to me and become my woman. Isn't Lingyue really dead? Hushi's voice was clear and fair-sounding, but it inexplicably had a charming power. How did she die? Of course she is dead. Naelanjungza yelled. That damn bitch, she didn't even leave her corpse after she died. I don't know where the pill formulas were hidden. I searched through every place of XINU house. I even severely wounded Mami-chan and searched her soul, but failed to find the location of those pill formulas. And Lingyue, since you are ruthless and unrighteous, don't blame me for abusing your son and daughter, making them worse than an animal, ha 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 ha. As Naelanjungza said, he looked at Hushi, and he suddenly increased the strength of his feet. The bone-fracturing sound could be heard. Then it was followed by a more miserable howl. It was obvious that his rib was broken by Naelanjungza. Naelanjungza chuckled and said, Naelan Hushi, don't you want to know who he is? Hushi looked at him calmly. There was no sadness or joy in her eyes, but there was a touch of mockery. This kind of ridicule made Naelanjungza irritated, and he sternly said, Didn't you know that Naelanziyun pretended to be your brother? Then do you know where is your real brother? Ha ha ha, I can tell you today, this hideous person at my feet who lives a miserable life is your younger brother, the real Naelanziyun. Naelanjungza pursed his lips as if recalling something. His eyes were gleaming. You must be curious why he became like this? Do you remember that when you were young, you had a high fever because of Feishua's teasing? Naelanziyun saw you were thirsty and wanted to find water to feed you, but the servants didn't listen to him. He couldn't find water, so he had to cut off his wrist and feed you with his blood. Who knows, his blood detoxified the poison in your body and restore you to the original state. Naelanjungza's words finally changed Hushi's expression slightly. She searched through the memory of the original owner, and finally found that impression in the distant fuzzy corner. The little immature child kept calling her sister in her ear, and she was confused and could not say anything. She just felt her chest was burning and her throat was thirsty, so she could not stop muttering, "Water." Then, she felt a refreshing sweet liquid flowing into her dry lips, slowly nourishing her injured internal organs, and letting the tormenting pain slowly disappear. That was my brother's blood. It turned out that Xiao Qi in this life was the same as her brother in the previous life, desperately protecting her sister, even if he had to sacrifice everything. Naelanjungza saw that her face was moved, and he was very satisfied. He continued, "He saved you back then, but because he saved you, I discovered that his blood has such a magical effect. I use his blood as the main material to refine the Juku Lingshan pill, which also made my Naelan family standing in the position of the 4 great families in the Jinling kingdom. Naelan Hushi, you can say that your brother was imprisoned by me for a dozen years because of you. Don't you want to save him?" Hushi nodded and said, "Want." This simple one-word answer made Naelanjungza overjoyed. This bitch, Naelan Hushi, had persisted for so many days. Now seeing his brother, she finally decided to compromise. Since you want to save your brother, then immediately exchange him with your mother's relics. As long as you give me all the pill formulas and treasures left by Lingyue, I will let him go. How about that? Seeing Hushi took a step forward, her maid also followed up. Naelanjungza hurriedly said, "Don't try to take your brother from my hand forcibly. I have fed him the poison. If it isn't cured in half an hour, he will die horribly. I know you are capable of curing poison. However, do you really want to bet it with your younger brother's life and his saving grace to you?" Hushi stopped and said with a sneer, "You said he is my younger brother, then he is my younger brother? How do I know if you fake another Naelanziyun to lie to me? You are really stubborn." Naelanjungza sneered. "You don't believe that he is your brother? Well, I will show you his true face now. You are twins, although you two don't look exactly the same, his appearance is at least similar to you. When you see it, you know I'm not lying to you." As he said, he quickly took out the key and opened the iron helmet. The helmet fell to the ground with a bang, and under the helmet was a face with disheveled hair. Nalan Jungza didn't even look at that face. Instead, he grabbed his hair and forced him to raise his head toward Hushi. He laughed and said, "Nalan Hushi, see clearly, is this your brother? You two are in Lingyue's illegitimate children. You two look very similar to her. You can recognize this at a glance." That face clearly appeared in front of Hushi and Qing Wan. Although the face was dirty, the facial features could still be clearly recognized. Qing Wan saw that person's face clearly, and she couldn't help but chuckle and laughed. "You said this is the younger brother of our miss? You said this person looks similar to our miss? Nalan Jungza, are you getting crazy?" Nalan Jungza was startled, but he didn't realize what Qing Wan meant. Hushi smiled coldly. She launched the invisible needle at the acupuncture point of the medicine man. Suddenly, the medicine man cried out in horror with a hoarse voice, "Father, father, it's me. I'm Ziyun. Father, save me." "What?" Nalan Jungza suddenly loosened his hand when he heard the voice, and the person he was holding fell to the ground with a bang. After the impact, the ribs that had been fractured immediately pierced into his internal organs, causing a stern cry. Nalan Jungza lowered his head in a tremble, and he saw the face of his beloved son Nalan Ziyun. His face at this time could no longer be described as pale, but it was filled with the gloominess of death. Because the lobes of the lungs were punctured by the ribs, he kept spraying bleeding foam in his mouth, and his breathing became weaker and weaker. His life was about to die. "Ziyun, Ziyun, how could it be you?" Nalan Jungza trembled all over, trying to help her son, but the hand that was stretched out seemed stiff and frozen. He seemed to have lost his strength. Finally, he took out a healing medicinal pill and wanted to feed it into Nalan Ziyun's mouth. "Ziyun, you won't die. Father won't let you die. You are Father's most beloved son." Nalan Ziyun's eyes were full of fear and anticipation. He opened his mouth and fed him the medicinal pill. "Father is right, I will not die. I still have a great and bright future. I still want to revenge on that vicious woman Nalan Hushi. I still have so many things to do." As the medicinal pill was swallowed into his abdomen, the cold that was about to take away his vitality faded away. Nalan Ziyun's face showed a smile of surviving a disaster. Nalan Jungza also breathed a sigh of relief. He was about to ask people to come in and carry the young master down to recuperate. Suddenly, Nalan Ziyun's face twisted. Immediately afterward, a purple-green gas filled his cheeks, causing him to twitch and twist. "Ziyun, Ziyun." There was a clear look of panic and fear on Nalan Jungza's face. He recognized it. This is the symptom of the poison I fed Nalan Ziyun. But isn't there obviously still half an hour before it triggers? There is no cure for this deadly poison, except Juku Lingshan pill. He initially had no intention of letting Nalan Hushi's younger brother live. He initially wanted to kill Lingyue's illegitimate children getting her relics. But now, this poison was going to kill his most beloved son. "No. I don't want to die. Father, save me, save me, save." Nalan Ziyun's hand tightly pinched into Nalan Jungza's wrist, desperately trying to ask for help and want to talk. However, a mouthful of blood surged out, and he rolled his eyes. In the end, his heart stopped beating and he became a dead body. Nalan Jungza looked at Nalan Ziyun staring blankly with the unwillingness to die, only to feel a buzz in his head. He stood up suddenly and rushed toward Hushi frantically. "Bitch, it's you. You killed my son. I want you to pay with your life." The spiritual power of Nalan Jungza skyrocketed, but his movements were disordered. He didn't even cast the flying sword. Qing Wan snorted contemptuously. She stepped forward to fight with Nalan Jungza. Although Nalan Jungza was a martial artist of the gold core stage, he had been immersed in pill refining and the urge to seek glory and prosperity for many years. How could he have time to improve his cultivation? Qing Wan was also of the gold core stage, but she was carefully and secretly cultivated in the King of Hell mansion. The difference in power could be seen at a glance. After just a few minutes, Nalan Jungza was knocked to the ground by Qing Wan. He was vomiting blood with a pale face. He stared at Hushi fiercely and yelled hysterically, "Bitch, do you think you can escape from the Nalan mansion? Even if I will lose in Lingyue's relics, I must let you bitch die horribly. I will use your flesh and blood to pay for my son Ziyun's life. As soon as Nalan Zhengzi spoke, he suddenly crushed the SOS-inscribed jade slip. Qing Wan glanced at Hushi with a solemn expression. And she was also holding a jade slip. Miss, do you want me to summon Master now? Ahem. Why do you say like your master is someone who can simply summon here and there? Hushi coughed and shook her head. No need. I can feel that the range of this inscribed jade slip is not far away. He probably just summoned the elders and guards of the Nalan mansion. This is just right. It saves me the trouble to eliminate the root of the problem. Now I can solve it once and for all. Qing Wan was extremely convinced by Hushi now. She no longer doubts Hushi's words. As expected, just as Hushi said, after a while, the people of the Nalan mansion appeared and surrounded the study room. Among them was a master of the gold core stage, Nalan Shengming. Most of the others were martial artists of the Meridian stage. Their strength should not be underestimated. As soon as Nalan Zhengzi saw Nalan Shengming, he immediately shouted, Third Elder, Nalan Hushi is so rebellious that she wanted to kill her father. Her brother, Nalan Ziyun, also died in this cruel woman's hand. Third Elder, you must not let him go. When Nalan Shengming received the call, he was taken aback by the sight in front of him. He originally wanted to break through to the advanced level of the gold core stage behind closed doors, but he unexpectedly received Nalan Zhengzi's call for help. He thought it was a powerful enemy invading Nalan family. Who knows, what he saw was Nalan Hushi, the little girl, beat Nalan Zhengzi until he vomited blood. He frowned and said, Nalan Hushi, you are so rebellious. You actually hurt your father? You still don't kneel down and admit your mistakes? Hushi smiled lightly. Her eyes were full of contempt, but she said nothing. Nalan Zhengzi hurriedly shouted, Third Elder, this Nalan Hushi colluded with the outsider Shiyu. The maid next to her was sent by Shiyu. She has great ability. Even I'm not her opponent. This animal gave all of Enlingyue's relics to Shiyu in exchange for Shiyu's help. The best quality pills and pill formulas sold in Shengda Hall should have belonged to our Nalan family. What? Is what you said true? Now let alone Nalan Shengming, the rest of the Nalan family were all shocked. After the shock, they felt incredible ecstasy. Shengda Hall was now popular in the Jinling Kingdom today. Even the Shen family of Qingxia sect treated the little shopkeeper in Shengda Hall respectfully. Why? Wasn't it because of the powerful and mysterious best quality pill that Shengda Hall could provide? If those best quality pills belonged to us, wouldn't our Nalan family? The thought of this made Nalan Shengming and the others excited. Several martial artists at the peak of the Meridian stage surrounded Hushi and Qing Wan in the center. Nalan Sheng stared at Hushi with a hot gaze. He said in a deep voice, Little girl, I know that your father was not good enough for you before and made you wronged, but you are the people of the Nalan family. Before Nalan Shengming had finished speaking, Hushi had already made a long sigh. She said slowly as if she was bored. Enough with your nonsense already. I was willing to chatter with you because I was having a good mood, but now I'm already impatient. So you guys should all die. You. Nalan Shengming was interrupted, and he was furious when he heard such a rude declaration from Hushi. Nalan Zhengzi had already eaten medicinal pills and stood up. He said bitterly, Third Elder, this slut is relying on the maid next to her. This maid is indeed strong in cultivation. She definitely has the level of the gold core stage. Isn't it just the gold core stage? Could it be that I, Nalan Shengming, would be afraid of her? Nalan Shengming coldly snorted. I'm going to hold her maid. You guys go and control Nalan Hushi. Before we get Enlingyue's relics, you can't let her die. Qing Wan glanced at the group of people surrounding the two with a stern look. Her eyes were full of contempt. Just a bunch of useless people. Only the old man at the intermediate level of the gold core stage is still worth fighting. Miss, let me deal with the old man first. No need. Hushi took out Li Shui's sword faintly. There was a clear and beautiful voice like a wind sings. I don't want to waste time with them. I'll deal with all of them at once. As soon as she spoke, The purple vines suddenly rose from her body. The vines were like tornadoes. Wherever they went, they smashed the walls and roof of the entire study room. The flying stones and rubble fell one after another on scattered Nalanjingza and others, but none of them fell on Hushi. Nalanjingza and Nalan Shengming were in a panic, but they couldn't even wipe the dust off their faces. They just stared at Nalan Hushi with horror. The girl's figure was weak and didn't look pretty in appearance, but the crazy surging spiritual power was so powerful that Nalan Shengming trembled in fear. Nalanjingza's feeling at this time was more frightened and crazier than when he saw Nalan Ziyun's face under the iron helmet. No, this is impossible. That was Nalan Hushi. Although he tortured her, he secretly instigated the servants to abuse her. Watching her live like a pig, he had never relaxed his surveillance on her. Nalan Hushi is so weak, so incompetent, so useless. How could she be the one in front who can exude a strong spirit pressure and make me feel desperate? Who are you? You're not Nalan Hushi, who are you? Nalanjingza let out a hoarse scream as if to convince the others and himself. Hushi smiled softly, and the purple vines instantly got back into her body as if they were conscious. She looked at Nalanjingza coldly and sneered cruelly at the father whom Nalan Hushi admired and looked forward to. Of course I'm Nalan Hushi, my dear father. You have been monitoring me for 17 years. Don't you even know me now? After a pause, her voice suddenly became cold. The voice was clearly pleasant to ears, but it was strangely cold, like it was from hell. I'm Nalan Hushi, but I'm not the original Nalan Hushi. The original Nalan Hushi has been forced to death by you animals. Now standing in front of you is Nalan Hushi, who has crawled back from hell. Are you ready to repay your debt? Li Shui's sword rose to the sky after she spoke. Just before Nalanjingza and Nalan Shengming could react, swords rained down from the sky. Flying flower sword rain. Thousands of arrows pierced the heart. Even in Breaking Spirit Mountain, Hushi's move could easily kill a rank 5 magical beast. What's more, after experiencing the battle of Breaking Spirit Mountain, and cultivated behind closed doors, her current strength was no longer comparable to her previous strength. The rain of swords all over the sky was like death taking away their souls. Before these martial artists could react, the swords had penetrated their bodies directly. Some people even looked at Hushi with a contemptuous expression on their faces, thinking that she was just a little girl. So what if she was powerful? However, before their expressions changed, they felt a sharp pain. Then they completely lost their consciousness. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.